What happened with Diddy being sentenced? Is this the real artist rendering? There's no way. The act of positive thinking, that's got to be a joke, right? That's got to be a joke. That's not, there's no way that's the real courtroom rendering. Apparently it is. Buddy, come on. It's 4 years. You're going to be all right, dude. I don't even know, like, is it a win for Diddy that he got 4 years? I didn't follow the case, but people are saying that's a W. Because I had heard, listen, when the case started, I heard he's going away for life. He's a sex predator. He's a sex trafficker and all this stuff. And then as the case went on, I didn't follow it closely, but as the case went on, I started to hear more and more like, oh, actually, Cassie might be a little bit more liable here than we thought. Oh, Cassie might not have as good a case. Now, again, there's no excusing the him throwing her around and abuse and all that. But I thought that as the case went on, they were like, oh, actually, yeah, he's probably going to get some jail time, but it's not going to be this crazy thing we thought. Bro, they got him looking like Fat Albert, like old Fat Albert. What are we doing here? That's crazy, by the way. All right, so 4 years. Wait, what did 50 Cent say? Whoever was booking Diddy for speaking engagements, I heard he won't be able to make it. I'm available. All right, good. I mean, at least he's gonna serve some jail time. We got a lady reporting on it. Let's take a listen.
And Diddy has officially been sentenced by Judge Subramanian to 50 months in federal prison. I believe that his 12 or 13 months that he's already done will be accounted for. Sometimes you can serve only 85% of your sentence based on good behavior. But man, I heard Judge Subramanian say the words, I need to impose a significant sentence 2 or 3 times when he was giving his speech. And I was just thinking, oh my gosh, what the hell is this sentence going to be? But let me get back to that really quick. Okay, so when we got...
But is 50 months significant with 13 months already served? So you come down to, 37 months, basically 3 years now? For the allegations, or at least the charges that were brought to him, is that significant? Because it sounds like he got off pretty easy, you know what I'm saying? Again, I don't know how severe the charges were, but you got the judge reiterating, I need to make an example. I need to really have some strict charges here or whatever. I feel like a big time sentence.
Got back from lunch, Brian Steele was speaking, and I'll just go through this quickly because I really want to get to what Diddy said and what the judge said. So Brian Steele spoke, and then Xavier Donaldson spoke, and then a reverend spoke. Let me see. The reverend, he was in Miami, and he kind of talked about, just rehabilitation and how he would personally help Diddy if he got out of prison, or jail, excuse me. And then somebody from the re-entry program spoke. His name, you know what, that's not important right now. So then we had Mark Agnifilo speak, and then Diddy spoke. So Diddy, I actually wrote down pretty much. I wrote down, I'm not going to say word for word, I did paraphrase a lot, but I do want to read some of it to you, because he kind of broke at one point when he apologized to his mother and he apologized to his kids, but he kind of did a big sigh, and he stood up and he just said, thank you for giving me the chance to speak up for myself. It's been hard to be quiet this whole time and not say, how sorry I am for my actions. I'm sorry to Cassie Ventura for emotionally and physically hurting her. I don't take this lightly. I'm sorry to her family. And then he says, I'm sorry to Jane. I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm sorry I brought you into this mess. I'm sorry to all victims of domestic violence. This disgusting video of Cassie triggered a lot of people. DV is a burden I will always carry. I was sick from the drugs. My actions were shameful, disgusting, but I'm not making any excuses. I'm trying my best. I'm just a human being. I am not larger than life. My ego got the best of me. And he said, because of my decisions, I've lost my freedom, my career, my businesses, my reputation is destroyed. I lost my self-respect. I lost my ability to take care of my mom and my kids. And then he said, I hate myself right now. He also said, I'm stripped down to nothing. I am truly sorry for all of it, no matter what they say. And he was referring obviously to the prosecution. He said, I am truly humbled. And then he looked at his kids and he said, I'm sorry that I failed you as a father. Looked at his mom and said, I'm sorry that I failed you as a son. His voice broke. He said he failed his community.
I mean, listen, I'm not going to sit here and act like I was in the courtroom. I have no idea. But I mean, if the guy is gonna sit there and apologize to everybody in existence, that's great and all. But I'm still confused on what was it a light charge or not? Because he's like, yeah, I physically abused this girl or emotionally abused this girl. And he still gets the 3 years. Some people are saying like, oh, she consented to a lot of it. Cassie was in on a lot of it. It was manipulation, but it wasn't abuse or whatever. I'm still confused. But 3 years, it doesn't sound like, I mean, I don't know what the RICO, like you're saying they brought the RICO case to him, but were the charges upheld by the judge? I want to hear what the judge's ruling was.
He asked Your Honor for mercy for, I can't change the past, but I can change the future. He doesn't take his Mann Act conviction lightly. He takes full accountability, full responsibility. He knows the severity of it. He said, I want everyone to know that I'm truly sorry for it all. So then we took 5 minutes and the judge came back and just said, I want to make sure you know that you are being sentenced on the conviction.
So a Mann Act conviction involves illegally transporting a person across state lines with the intent to engage in prostitution or criminal sexual activities. So I assume this falls under sex trafficking. Okay. Usually that kind of conviction will give you how much time. There's no single mandatory minimum sentence for the Mann Act violation, as penalties vary on the specific case, including whether a minor is involved. Penalties can range up to 10 years for adult victims or 15 for a minor, while with courts also imposing fines and supervised release of any term of years not less than 5. That's pretty light for a case of what I guess he got charged with and I assume convicted of. Offenders may also be subject to a term of supervised release of any term of years not less than 5. So he got even lighter than the lightest, apparently. That's crazy.
Of the Mann Act, not RICO or trafficking. However, the statute of the defendant's sentence should consider characteristics of the defendant, the violence. So then he, went into all the things that impressed him about Combs, his MDC work, he lifted communities worldwide. His entrepreneurship is iconic, he said.
Is she saying the judge is out here glazing Diddy to reduce his sentence, talking about his entrepreneurship? The judge is out here like, yo, you're an iconic entrepreneur. Therefore, we're going to go a little lighter on you, dude. What?
The court knows you have problems with addiction and it may have exacerbated this, blah, blah, blah. And he praises him. And then he goes and says, but the court has to consider all of the behavior into consideration. And he said, you abused, or you basically used your power and control to abuse women who loved you, and you psychologically and physically abused them to get your way. The evidence of abuse in this case was massive. And he said, and we saw it. And then he listed, the broken door, the bruises, everything that we saw in court pretty much. And he said these were serious offenses that harmed 2 women. This conduct occurred for over a decade, and you had the power and the resources to keep it going because you did not get caught. And again, he kept saying, and I have to impose a significant sentence because XYZ. And I'm like, oh my.
Yeah, if you're going to impose a definitive sentence, that would be the 10 years. No? Massive sentence. And they gave him 5 with 13 months already served, which is less than the most courteous of decisions from judges. Is supervised release not less than 5 years? That's crazy. In the court, text messages showed that Cassie and 50 Cent baby mama both wanted the freak off, so that helped him. That's what I was referring to earlier. They said that Cassie wasn't as innocent as far as being forced to do a lot of stuff all the time. There were probably times where she was forced to do some of it, but she was also a willing participant in some of the freak off stuff as well, which probably massively hurt the prosecution's credibility, relying on her, But the judge talking about, I gotta, levy a heavy sentence here, and then giving him a slap on the wrist is crazy.
My gosh, is it gonna be more than 11 years? And then he said, the government's, request of the 11 years is too much, but the defense, 14 months is too little. So based on the facts and the circumstances of this case and the profound impact of,
7 years, 7 years. You want to meet in the middle, not 5 with 13 months already served.
What happened to Cassie and Jane? He said that, and he took into consideration the sentencing disparities that Patrick Driscoll brought up, and then he said yes. So he will be imposing a 50 months of incarceration, which is 4 years, 2 months, a $500,000 fine, and got up, and then he said yes. So he will be imposing a 50 months of incarceration, which is 4 years, 2 months, a $500,000 fine.
$500,000 fine is nothing, dude. Diddy shits on that money in the morning.
And terms of supervised release of 5 years, and outpatient treatment. And I got to get all my notes together. I will put all of this in writing, but that is essentially what happened. And he didn't seem to really react at this, except like he sighed, put his head back. He looked upset. When it was over, he looked at his family, kind of shrugged. His family didn't, they didn't cry that I saw. They didn't make any type of noises.
Family was like, yeah, all right, we'll take it. It's like a business deal to the family. They're like, okay, we'll take it. Sure, yeah, no, we'll take it. That's fine. Like, I don't know, man. This all seems super weird.
Or anything like that, so, yeah.
Seems weird, man. Seems weird. Seems like he got off easy. If the judge really wanted to make an example out of Diddy and really have these celebrities, put back in check and act like they don't run the world. You even hear what she says at the end, how Diddy like throws his head back and he's like sighing and all this stuff. The motherfucker probably really thought he was going to get away with it and get 14 months with 13 months served. Get a month or something, you know what I'm saying? And then supervised outside of it. He really probably thought he was going to. These people have no concept of
Hi, everyone.
Being checked. They think they're more powerful than everybody else. They have all types of connections and money to get them out of situations. So I'm glad he's at least serving some time, but I think it probably should have been more. I think he got off light. And you heard the lady, she said most of these things they serve, like sometimes people only serve 85% of their sentence. So take off the 13 months from 5 years, you have 37 months. What's 85% of that? I don't do math very well, but it's probably like 2 3/4 years. That's not a lot for what they were trying to get him with. What's normally a 10-year sentence, dude. But hey, serving time, so I guess we can all say, yeah. Congrats to the justice system on at least somewhat holding these fucking weirdos' feet to the fire.